The National Fire Protection Association 70, also known as the National Electrical Code, Chapter 695, covers fire pumps. Section 695.83 specifically addresses the power supply for jockey pumps, stating that the feeders for the fire pump or pump shall also be permitted to supply power to jockey pumps. Jockey pumps are not considered fire pumps and therefore are not subject to all the requirements of Section 695. Jockey pumps maintain system pressure in fire sprinkler systems, starting the main fire pump when pressure drops. The power supply for jockey pumps can also be taken from a separate branch circuit or feeder, but it must be dedicated and not used for any other purpose. Understanding the code requirements for jockey pumps is crucial for ensuring the reliable operation of fire protection systems. A jockey pump maintains pressure in a fire protection system to prevent false alarms caused by minor leaks. It is smaller than the main fire pump and operates more frequently. The National Electrical Code provides guidelines for the proper installation and wiring of jockey pumps to ensure their functionality during an emergency. Firstly, ensure the power supply for the jockey pump is reliable and complies with the code requirements. Secondly, the wiring and connections must be properly sized and protected against overcurrent. Thirdly, regular maintenance and testing are essential to verify the jockey pump's performance. A dedicated circuit for the jockey pump ensures that it operates independently of other equipment, minimizing the risk of failure. Overcurrent protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, protect the jockey pump and its wiring from damage caused by excessive current. Grounding the jockey pump properly is essential for safety, minimizing the risk of electrical shock. Regular testing of the jockey pump verifies its ability to maintain system pressure and start the main fire pump when needed. Accurate documentation of the jockey pump's installation and maintenance helps with troubleshooting and future repairs. Consulting with a qualified electrician or fire protection professional ensures compliance with all applicable codes and standards. Ignoring code requirements can lead to serious consequences, including system failure and property damage. Properly installed and maintained jockey pumps contribute to the overall effectiveness of fire protection systems. They play a vital role in minimizing fire damage and protecting lives. Understanding the specific code requirements for jockey pumps empowers you to make informed decisions about their installation and maintenance. This knowledge helps you ensure the safety and reliability of your fire protection system. When sizing the conductors for the jockey pump, refer to NEC Article 310.15 and use the ampacity tables to determine the appropriate conductor size based on the load current and insulation type. Remember to apply any applicable adjustment or correction factors for ambient temperature or the number of conductors in a raceway. For overcurrent protection, refer to NEC Article 430 for motor circuit protection requirements. Select an overcurrent device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, with a rating that complies with the code requirements for motor protection, typically sized at 125% of the motor's full load current. Ensure the jockey pump motor is properly grounded according to NEC Article 250. Use an equipment grounding conductor run with the circuit conductors to provide a low impedance path for fault current. Bonding all metal parts of the jockey pump and its associated equipment together helps to minimize the risk of electrical shock. Install a disconnecting means for the jockey pump that is readily accessible and capable of being locked in the open position. This allows for safe maintenance and repairs to be performed on the jockey pump without the risk of accidental energization. Label the disconnecting means clearly to identify it as the disconnect for the jockey pump. Perform regular inspections and tests of the jockey pump to verify its proper operation. Check the pump's pressure settings, flow rate, and electrical connections to ensure they are functioning correctly. Keep records of all inspections and tests for future reference. Maintain the jockey pump in accordance with the manufacturer's recommendations. This includes lubricating moving parts, replacing worn components, and cleaning the pump and its associated equipment. A well-maintained jockey pump will provide reliable performance and a long service life. When making any electrical connections, use listed and labeled connectors and fittings that are suitable for the application. Ensure that all connections are tight and secure to prevent loose connections, which can cause overheating and electrical hazards. Protect the jockey pump and its electrical equipment from physical damage. Install the pump in a location where it is not likely to be struck by vehicles or other objects. Provide adequate clearance around the pump for access and ventilation. Be aware of any specific requirements or regulations that may apply to jockey pumps in your jurisdiction. Check with your local authorities to ensure compliance with all applicable codes and standards. Properly installed and maintained jockey pumps are an essential part of a comprehensive fire protection system. They help to ensure that the system is ready to respond quickly and effectively in the event of a fire. Taking the time to understand and comply with the code requirements for jockey pumps is a worthwhile investment in safety and property protection. When dealing with electrical systems, always prioritize safety. If you are not qualified to perform electrical work, hire a licensed electrician to do the job. Working with electricity can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions to prevent accidents. The National Electrical Code is a complex document, and it can be difficult to understand all of its provisions. If you have any questions about the code requirements for jockey pumps, consult with a qualified electrical inspector or engineer. They can provide you with expert guidance and help you ensure that your installation complies with all applicable codes and standards. Remember that the information provided here is for general guidance only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice. Always consult with qualified professionals before making any decisions about electrical installations or repairs. By following these guidelines, you can help to ensure that your jockey pump is installed and maintained properly, providing reliable fire protection for your property. The code also addresses the separation of circuits. The fire pump and jockey pump circuit should be separated from other electrical circuits to enhance reliability. This can be achieved through physical separation, such as running the circuits in separate conduits, or by using a dedicated panel board for the fire pump and jockey pump. The NEC also includes requirements for emergency power systems. If the fire pump is required to operate during a power outage, it must be connected to an emergency power source, such as a generator or battery backup system. The emergency power system must be capable of providing sufficient power to operate the fire pump and jockey pump for the required duration. Additionally, the NEC addresses the use of fire-resistant cables. In some cases, the fire pump and jockey pump circuits may be required to be run using fire-resistant cables. These cables are designed to withstand high temperatures and continue to operate during a fire. The NEC also includes requirements for signage. Clear and visible signage must be provided at the location of the fire pump and jockey pump to identify the equipment and provide important information such as the voltage and amperage. Furthermore, the NEC contains requirements for coordination studies. A coordination study is an engineering analysis that determines the appropriate settings for overcurrent protection devices to ensure that they operate in a coordinated manner. This helps to prevent nuisance trips and ensure that the fire pump and jockey pump will operate when needed. Additionally, the NEC includes requirements for arc flash hazard analysis. An arc flash hazard analysis is an engineering analysis that determines the potential arc flash hazards associated with electrical equipment. This information is used to select appropriate personal protective equipment and to develop safe work practices. The NEC also requires periodic testing of fire pump systems. Fire pump systems must be tested periodically to ensure that they are operating properly. The testing must be performed by qualified personnel and the results must be documented. Understanding and complying with the NEC requirements for jockey pumps is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of fire protection systems. By following these guidelines, you can help to protect lives and property from fire. Remember to always consult with qualified professionals for specific guidance on your project. They can help you navigate the complexities of the NEC and ensure that your installation complies with all applicable codes and standards. In addition to the NEC, other codes and standards may apply to jockey pumps, such as the National Fire Protection Association 20 standard for the installation of stationary fire pumps for fire protection. This standard provides detailed requirements for the installation, testing, and maintenance of fire pumps, including jockey pumps. It is important to be familiar with all applicable codes and standards before beginning any work on a fire protection system. The NEC also addresses the use of adjustable speed drives. Adjustable speed drives are used to control the speed of the jockey pump motor. The NEC includes requirements for the installation and wiring of adjustable speed drives to ensure that they operate safely and reliably. These drives also have grounding requirements to consider. The NEC covers surge protection devices. Surge protection devices are used to protect electrical equipment from voltage surges. The NEC includes requirements for the installation and wiring of surge protection devices to ensure that they are effective in protecting the fire pump and jockey pump from damage. When installing a jockey pump, it is important to consider the ambient temperature. The NEC includes requirements for derriting conductors based on ambient temperature. If the ambient temperature is high, the conductors may need to be derrited to prevent them from overheating. The NEC also addresses the use of harmonic filters. Harmonic filters are used to reduce harmonic distortion in electrical systems. Harmonic distortion can cause problems with electrical equipment, including fire pumps and jockey pumps. The NEC includes requirements for the installation and wiring of harmonic filters to ensure that they are effective in reducing harmonic distortion. When selecting a jockey pump, it is important to consider the system demand. The jockey pump must be sized to meet the system demand, which is the amount of water required to maintain pressure in the fire protection system. The NEC also includes requirements for the protection of electrical equipment from physical damage. Electrical equipment must be protected from physical damage by enclosures or other means. This helps to prevent damage to the equipment and to protect people from electrical hazards. When working with electrical equipment, it is important to use the proper tools. Using the wrong tools can damage the equipment or cause injury. The NEC also includes requirements for the labeling of electrical equipment. Electrical equipment must be labeled with its voltage, amperage, and other important information. This helps to ensure that the equipment is used properly and safely. When troubleshooting electrical problems, it is important to follow a systematic approach. This will help you to identify the cause of the problem and to fix it quickly and efficiently. The NEC also includes requirements for the documentation of electrical work. All electrical work must be documented, including the date of the work, the name of the person who performed the work, and a description of the work that was performed. This documentation is important for future reference and for ensuring that the electrical system is properly maintained. When making any changes to an electrical system, it is important to obtain the necessary permits. Permits are required for most electrical work to ensure that the work is done safely and in accordance with the applicable codes and standards. The NEC also includes requirements for the training of electrical workers. Electrical workers must be properly trained to perform electrical work safely and in accordance with the applicable codes and standards. When hiring an electrical contractor, it is important to choose a contractor who is licensed and insured. This will help to protect you from liability in the event of an accident or damage to your property. The NEC also includes requirements for the inspection of electrical work. The electrical work must be inspected by a qualified electrical inspector to ensure that it has been done safely and in accordance with the applicable codes and standards. The requirements outlined are intended to ensure the safe and reliable operation of jockey pumps and fire protection systems.